Personally, I think it's probably a pretty good bad timing for the CEO to make an exit at the moment. They are facing really tough market conditions, in Europe, in the U.S., and to a certain extent, some emerging markets. So, Carlo's been, he's been very good at controlling costs, and that's what we need at the moment to adjust to the current market condition. So I think as you can see, the stock's down 7-8% right now. The market's not reacting very positively on his early exit.
So what's your read then on why now?
Well, I think Carlos and the management team has done a lot. He's made some management changes to really bring down the inventory in the U.S. That's where the pain is. They typically get adjusted operating income of double digits in the teens, but that's been down to single digit in the last quarter. So there's a lot of work to be done to actually bring down inventory in the U.S. so they can actually try to get some pricing on their new models that's coming out at the moment. So a lot of work to be done, but it's his leave. Look, it's really out of his control at the moment. He's done all he can, Carlos, that is. It's really it's something he couldn't control. It's the market. Every automaker is facing a similar situation around the world.
And I think what we're seeing, I guess what I'm piecing together from reading your research and reading the Bloomberg News reporting here is, in kind of as it relates to the global auto industry, Europe's in a tough place because, again, like everybody else, they're not sure about this transition to EVs. Yet at the same time, China is flooding the market with electric vehicles, so it makes it even tougher for the incumbent manufacturers. Where are we in that process?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting industry right now to follow because there's all these dynamics. There's new competitor. It's becoming the 800-pound gorilla, China, which, it's coming into the market not just in Europe. They're thinking about coming into North America. We'll see how that goes with Trump in the office. But, EV is tough. A lot of countries in Europe have cut back subsidies for consumers. So, you hear Volkswagen closing plants, 2-3 plants in Europe. So it's going to take time to work out. I think we're going to see pain through 2025.
Where is the biggest pain point? Because you just listed off a lot of stuff. And when I think about car makers, I think, EVs, right? Like, it's not yet really profitable for these guys to make them, but you got to make them in order to make the prices lower and make them competitive and kind of put it out there and get the supply. Is that really the issue, in addition to Chinese competition, or a traditional auto landscape also struggling? When it comes to Stellantis, I should say.
That's a very good question. It's really not about EVs. EV only makes up less than 10% of a lot of these companies' annual sales. So it's not really EV. It's really the ICE vehicles that, during COVID, we had a lot of shortages because of the supply chain constraints. But over the past couple years, with that supply chain constraint going away, they've been producing a lot of vehicles, and they're refilling that inventory. And with higher interest rate over the last, past few quarters, you see that inventory piling up, and now they can't sell the cars, but at the same time they're going to have to drop prices, and the worry is it's going to spiral out of control, not only for Stellantis or Nissan, but for the rest of the auto industry. Price cutting is not where the industry needs to go right now.